What's poppin' YouTube? Beanie Thuggish back here with another video, Yu-Gi-Oh! Related this time. With the release of Blazing Vortex, we are going to be looking at one of the cards, one of the highest rarity and value cards out of the set so far, called Pot of Prosperity. I believe that this card is going to have a lot of meta and rogue implications, but for a lot of rogue decks, a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 decks are going to be immensely more consistent. So I'm going to show you guys some cool and fun strategies today after we review the card on stream together. On the video together. Or at least look at its effect and its application. So here it is. This is the Japanese version of it, but it is called Pot of Prosperity. And you banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck, face up, your choice. Face down, your choice. For the rest of the turn, after this card's effect resolves, any damage your opponent would take is halved. Also, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards banished. Add 1 excavated card from your hand, place the rest onto the bottom of the deck in any order. You can only activate one Pot of Prosperity per turn. You cannot draw cards by card effects the turn you activate this card. I'm going to be real, that seems phenomenal. That seems like a rogue player's dream. It's better in a sense than Pot of Duality because you get to look it up to 6 cards and you can still special summon. It's better in a sense than Pot of Extravagance because you get to banish 3 or 6 of your own choice, but you're only drawing 1. Now, in a game like Magic the Gathering, we have a mechanic, they have a mechanic, Scry. And Scry is where you look at the top cards of your deck and you put them back in whatever order you want, right? So say you Scry 3, you look at those top 3, and you put them back in whatever order you want. Scry is usually attached onto other cards, kind of like the way that this card works. And Scry is worth a certain amount of mana. Scrying 4 cards may be worth 1 mana, right? But if you attach a draw to that, it makes it immensely more powerful. Scry 4, draw 1. Or draw 1, scry 4. Draw 2, whatever. Scry 2. Or in the mix-ups, mess-ups. I haven't recorded in a while. So this card is essentially a scry of either 3 or 6, and you get to pick one and put the rest on the bottom. You don't get to organize your top card, you get to organize your bottom card. So in the late game pinch, if you're not going for any more searches and you have, I don't know, 10 cards left in the deck, this is pretty cool. Now, you can't activate your Pot of Desires, your Pot of Extravagance, your Upstart Goblins during the rest of the turn, but it says nothing about continuing searches. So those decks like Necros that search a bunch, Ritual Beast, Blackwings, decks that just want to search a lot of cards. Those decks are not hindered by this card, and now they can play a card like this instead of Extravagance, get some value, but also retain their extra deck, keep it in check, keep a good strangle on it on the cards that they want to keep in their extra, right? So let's look at a few examples of decks that can use. The first example I want to show you guys is Ritual Beast. I think Ritual Beast with this card is phenomenal. Ritual Beast already had one of the most powerful 2-card combos in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? It's a 2-card like +4 or something. Okay? It's not. For its time, it was amazing. It's not as strong anymore, right? But now we got Win the Wind Channeler, which will guarantee you either Elder or Kanahawk, and now you can dig 6 cards deep, or 3 cards, if you're feeling risky, 3 or 6 cards deep to acquire the other piece. So you can have 3 cards in your hand because this requires a win discard. You can have 3 cards in your hand and end up with your 2-card combo. And neither of those could have been Elder or Kanahawk at the start of the turn. The Upstart Goblin is kind of, not a good idea to have in the deck because of the fact that you're playing the 3-Pot of Extravagance, 3-Pot of Disparity? Prosperity? Prosperity. It's called Disparity in the OCG, pardon me. The 3-Pot of Prosperity because of the fact that it conflicts with it, but no big deal. You can also, when you get to that, you're getting to your full combo with your 2 Steeds and 1 Ambush and a Laura Search, whatever, right? And you're playing 3 Kanahawks, so if you need to get rid of one of them, if you need to get rid of one of your ulti Petalfins, if you need to get rid of one of your ulti Kimun Falcos and an ulti Apilio, you're totally a-okay to do that. And especially with another engine like the Wind Witch engine, which is a 1-card engine, 1-card starter, I should say. Ice Spell, you just need to see Ice Spell. If you open a Pot of Prosperity, Elder Kanahawk, and you're like, I really want to add more to this board. I already know that I have my guaranteed combo. Let me see if I can get to an Ice Spell. You can try to get to an Ice Spell, or you can try to get to a Win the Wind Challenger, which will get you to an Ice Spell. You see how that kind of just flows all together very nicely? It's really, really cool. I think that this deck with Pot of Prosperity is going to be a lot more of a rogue and anti-meta, especially because in this deck you can play cards like Dimensional Shifter and it's called Dimension Shifter or Dimensional? Sorry, I haven't played in a while. Dimension Shifter and Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure. You can play cards like that, kind of stop the meta a little bit, and a card like Droll and Lockbird is searchable in this deck because of Win the Wind Channel, which is just vastly more powerful than you guys would ever believe, I promise you that. Go ahead and move on to the next deck. Next deck I want to look at, Magical Musketeer. Magical Musketeer was at some point an anti-meta / rogue contender. This deck has topped YCSs during the Link format. When you were actually constrained to having your max on the field and one extra monster. That is no longer a thing. You don't have to do that anymore. Pot of Prosperity is like Pot of Extravagance, but you don't have to lose all 3 of your maxes. It's like Pot of Desires, but you don't have to possibly lose all your Caspars or Starfires. Because of the fact that each one of your Magical Musketeer monsters is already going to +1 or resource you in some way, because of the fact that you're activating a spell in its column, is immensely more powerful than you guys would ever believe. I promise you that. This card going second, along with a Starfire or a Caspar, is just insane. Because of the fact that you can still go ahead and get to your Parallel Exceed off of it if you need it. You can dig 6 cards deep for a Parallel Exceed so that you can start all of your OTK shenanigans. Now, the problem is you won't be able to set up for an OTK because of the fact that all damage is half. So maybe in a deck like this now, you would probably, maybe you take out the Double or Nothing, you'd take out the Utopia package, and you'd play more stun cards in that spot. You'd bounce a card with Castel or something, or you'd blow up the board with Exciton, or you would set up a Baguska after breaking their board with all of your Cross Dominators and your Desperados. But this deck, it just with Pot of Prosperity, seems to have consistency. Another deck I want to look at is a little more trap heavy, and that's going to be Trap Tricks. I feel like I don't even have to explain this card. It was so hard to play Pot of Extravagance, which was not Pot of Extravagance, because you did not want to lose your 3 Seras. You just couldn't afford to do it. I feel like all 3 of these decks kind of have the same thing. You can't afford to lose Kana, you can't afford to lose all your maxes, and you can't afford to lose all your Seras. Okay, if you are playing 3 Seras and you don't have a Sera, you don't have Sera access, you lose. You're done. Game's over. Goodbye. But with Pot of Prosperity, you get to choose what you can get rid of out of your extra deck, whether it's Plagiar, your Daigusto Emerald, part of your Utopia package, because of course I'm playing 4, your Borreload Dragon, you know, anything, your Time Thief Redoer, to go ahead and get you one of your secondary combo pieces. That being a card like Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. Because Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine and any Trap Tricks monster is a 2-card combo for Sera and Rafflesia, which is an Abiru-proof combo, I might add, because you're going to be able to have access to your Gravedigger's Trap Hole. It does happen in 5 summons. And it sets you up for an interruption with the Trap Tricks Rafflesia next. Very, very, very powerful. Instead, alternatively, you could also get yourself to a Parallel Exceed. So if you open a pot of Prosperity, I keep wanting to say Disparity. It's really hard to read this and not want to say it. A Pot of Prosperity and 1 Trap Tricks monster, or one of your extenders, that being Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine or Parallel Exceed, you are always guaranteed combo now. I don't know if you guys know the Trap Tricks combo, but it's essentially just, let's say we use Mermello. I'll actually go a little more in depth with this deck than I would have with the other ones. You would normal summon Mermello. Mermello search for one of your Trap Holes, probably one of your 2-ofs. So probably Bottomless. Alright, so you would search for your Bottomless. You would send it off to the graveyard for a link summon of Trap Trick Sera. Then you would set your Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. You have no traps in your graveyard. Activate it. You've activated a normal trap. Boom, Sera effect's going to activate. It's going to special summon a trap. It's going to special summon a Trap Tricks from your deck. You would add the Mantis. Mantis will bounce the card, getting you another card off of your... it'll bounce your trap that you just set, getting you another Sera activation to set another Trap Hole from the deck, giving you 2 monsters on the field to use. Overlay those 2 for a Trap Tricks Rafflesia. And now that combo will be even easier to achieve because of Pot of Prosperity. You can dig 3 or 6 cards deep into your deck, get to either one of your cool combos. Now, I want to show you guys a super not meta. This is probably bottom of the barrel gutter, right? Yosenju's. I think Yosenju's is a pretty fun deck, especially if you're teaching it to a beginner, right? Yosenju's is pretty cool. This is a pretty nice way to introduce someone into Yu-Gi-Oh! If they don't really understand a lot of what's happening. Now, with a deck like Yosenju, this card works out perfect because you're not really special summon, right? But if you need to in a pinch, you can. This is just essentially 6 Pot of Dualities. Because of the fact that this deck no longer has Card Demise, it's limited to 1. I don't know if it's really worth playing, especially with Pot of Prosperity now. Now, you have 3 Tinky, searches monster. 3 Pot of Prosperity gets you to whatever cool trap or monster or hand trap you want to get to, whether it be your Ash, your Droll, or your Nibiru. Or even Ice Dragon's Prison or Torrential, right? It gets you to one of those. And you add one of them to your hand. You do not have to show your opponent. You don't reveal it. You are adding 1 excavated card. The cards are activated. Boom, you grab one. Easy, right? I think you actually have to show your opponent because cards aren't activated face down, are they? I don't remember a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! Same with Pot of Duality. And these two don't conflict because you are not drawing. You are adding a card from your deck to your hand. Which means now the consistency of this deck is through the roof. Tinky does not conflict. And Duality is not conflict. These two, Tinky, Duality, those can go to 2, those can go to 1, whatever. Things like that aren't actually the star of the deck. The star of the deck now is Prosperity. Because if you play Prosperity and you want to play a card like, I don't know, if you want to play a more going second version with Kaijus and the Kaiju package, you are not hindered by Pot of Duality anymore. Pot of Duality does not hold that version back, and you have to figure out which one is going to contrast, which one is going to mesh and meld together. Now, because of Pot of Prosperity and Tinky, you can completely cut Duality from the deck. This is a very stock list. That is just that you can completely cut from the deck. You can just get rid of Duality altogether, play some Kaijus, and play Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Easy peasy, breaking boards, setting your back or after. Very interesting stuff. I think that Pot of Disparity will even have meta implications. I think that maybe a deck like Dinosaurs, I don't have a dinosaur list on the off chance to show you guys, but a deck like Dinosaurs would love a card like Pot of Prosperity. Anyways, Beneath Like a Shout. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys appreciated the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. What other decks you think Pot of Prosperity will work extremely well in? And if you guys think this card's going to be meta at all, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace out.